One of the busiest airports in the nation still closed at this hour after a deadly plane crash. There's a ground stop still underway at New York's LaGuardia Airport caused by a deadly runway collision. 2 pilots are dead, dozens of passengers injured. And right now, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is headed there now as an investigation is underway by the NTSB. And Sean Duffy plans to hold a news conference this afternoon. We will take that live as soon as that happens. This is the Faulkner Focus. I'm Aisha Hasni in for Harris. Well, here's what we know so far about this horrific incident. Just before midnight, an Air Canada jet landed on runway 4 at LaGuardia Airport, slammed right into a fire truck on the tarmac. An air traffic controller can be heard in the moments after that crash where he admits he messed up.
That wasn't good to watch.
Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my staff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up.
No, man, you did the best you could.
There is a lot to investigate at this hour, and video from the scene, take a look, shows severe damage to that front of the aircraft where those pilots would have been sitting. The cockpit completely mangled. One passenger shares what happened during that terrifying moment.
As we were arriving, we came down really hard, and then we stopped really quickly, and then about 2 seconds later, we just had an absolute slam. Everybody was flying everywhere. I mean, the plane started veering off left and right. I remember looking behind me after we got off, and there was some guy with just the blood coming off of his face, and it was a lot of people got pretty hurt.
Well, it is causing a ripple effect. According to FlightAware, more than half of today's flights into and out of LaGuardia have been disrupted. Take a look at that on your screen there. Officials say the airport will not reopen until about 2 o'clock this afternoon or so. So far, nearly 600 flights canceled. 30 are delayed. We are covering this breaking story from all the angles. Former NTSB board member and aviation safety expert John Goglia is with me soon. We begin, though, with CB Cotton. She is live on the ground at LaGuardia Airport in New York City with the very latest on this investigation. Hi, CB.
Hey, Aisha. Well, as we wait for Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy to join NTSB investigators here on the ground, we've learned from the FAA that last night's staffing here at LaGuardia will be a part of the investigation. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump has also weighed in on this deadly crash.
Terrible. They made a mistake. It's a dangerous business. That's terrible.
The crushed Air Canada plane is still on the runway. Its nose sheared off from the collision with the Port Authority fire truck that was responding to an odor with a United flight. In audio before the crash, it appears an air traffic controller gives the fire truck permission to cross before frantically telling the truck to stop.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower. Truck 1 and Company. Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta. Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta. Truck 1 and Company, 4 at Delta. Frontier 4195 to stop there, please. Stop.
2 pilots were tragically killed in the crash just before midnight. Cables and debris were left hanging from a mangled cockpit, and just feet away, the damaged fire truck lying on its side. This morning, Canadian investigators are working closely with the NTSB to determine what went wrong. There are no flights in or out of LaGuardia Airport today until at least 2 p.m. Eastern, but that could last even later if the agency is still continuing its investigation. Aisha.
Okay, CB Cotton live for us at LaGuardia. CB, thank you. Let's go to John Goglia, former NTSB board member, aviation safety expert, and former airline mechanic. Great to have you on the program, John. You know, the NTSB is very good at figuring this out, right down to the very minute details. From where we are sitting right now, based on what we've seen and heard, it sounds like things went awry at the tower.
It certainly sounds like the air traffic controller made a mistake, but it's going to go a lot deeper than that, because if what we're hearing is true, that he was the only one in the tower and he was working 2 positions, just like the controller in Washington National a year ago. When is the FAA going to learn that when you have busy airports, you keep the position staffed? It's frustrating as hell to be an investigator, both from the NTSB and sit out here as a private citizen now and have to see these things go over and over and over. The FAA has got to do something. And I'm anxious to hear what the Transportation Secretary says today. And you're right, the NTSB will pick this one apart piece by piece.
We are too, and we'll bring that press conference to you live as soon as it happens. Take us inside the cockpit. You know, you feel for these pilots who I can't imagine. They must have seen that truck on the tarmac, but at that point, they're coming in fast.
It's their landing speed. They're probably 100 miles an hour when they touch down, and that's only a third of the way down the runway, so they were still going quite fast. And have that truck come in from the side and at a 90 degree, it's like an intersection accident in your automobile. Only one car's going very fast. So,
wow.
And you know, those poor pilots suffered because they saw it coming.
Wow. How much should weather, do you think, have to do with this? It was a little misty, maybe some fog. How much did that have to do, you think?
It doesn't appear to be a player here yet.
Okay.
But it could have been a factor. It could have been a factor. You know, one of the things that the cockpit on the airplane, there's a nice big bright light on the nose landing gear. And that was missed by the people in the fire truck. So there's a lot of things to look at here. There's the human factors inside the truck, human factors inside the tower cab, as well as operational procedures that may have been violated both in the truck and in the cab, tower cab. So the NTSB human factors people will be very busy, and the timeline in this is going to be very important as well. So they'll spend a great deal of time, NTSB time, determining just what happened and down to the nanosecond if they need to.
You know, we're looking at the scene at LaGuardia Airport. It's just a horrific scene. I mean, it's just a mangled mess, this airplane. But we talked about how the things that were happening in the tower are extremely important to investigate too. Walk me through what the NTSB has been doing this morning and what they will be doing to come to a determination on what exactly was the mistake here.
Well, before the NTSB even left Washington, they were starting to gather the tapes, all the conversation between the tower and the ground. So they'll sequester all of that material. They will dispatch somebody. It was 11:30 last night, guaranteed there was somebody, there's an office in New York, so there's somebody from the NTSB was on their way there well before midnight. And the team will come up from Washington today. They're already there, I'm sure. And they'll start going through, talking to everybody that saw it. They'll talk to the passengers. They'll go just down the line. The NTSB, as many other organizations that do safety accident investigations around the world, we have a set of procedures. It's a very thorough set that's been developed over years and years and years. So they will just follow all those steps, even though some of it you may say, is that important? But they will look at the maintenance of the airplane. They will look at the brakes on the airplane. So they're going to look at every piece using this syllabus, this training, this document that they have. It's followed step by step by step. And oftentimes I hear people, why are they looking at that? But it's just, you never know where you're going to find a contributing factor. So you have to go through every single piece until you can answer, it wasn't involved, it wasn't involved, it wasn't involved.
Okay. All right, we'll wait to find out what that investigation results in. John Goglia, thank you so much for your insights. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.